Hello everyone, welcome to another interesting and exciting episode of Candid Opinion. My name is Henry and today's episode promises to be very intriguing. But before I get into the topic of today, I would like to start us off with a story first of all. It's a story about a beautiful, young, hardworking female known as Deborah. Now, Deborah had a relationship, a long-term committed relationship, which she was very serious about. But along the line, she made some mistakes. The guy made some mistake, and they fell apart down the line. So after they fell apart, Deborah spoke to herself and she said, "You know what? I'm not gonna get into any relationship. I'm not gonna, be committed to nobody else," because she really loved this dude, to be honest, and she decided to focus on hard work. After the relationship, she decided to focus on hard work, making money, building a career for herself. There were a lot of guys coming her way, handsome guys, rich guys, but Deborah decided to stay true to what she believed in, which is, she's not ready for any relationship. She just wants to work hard, make money, and improve the lifestyle of herself and her family. And Deborah kept on with that for a couple of months until she met Kevin. Now, Kevin is not the most handsome that Deborah ever met. She's met some really handsome dude, and Kevin is not even the richest Deborah has ever met. Deborah has actually met some really rich dude who are willing to, do a lot to get her on their side. But Kevin was different. Now, what made Kevin different was that Kevin actually had something that very few men in Nigeria can actually offer. Now, you see, Kevin was born in Switzerland and his father is French, so which makes Kevin a citizen of multiple nationality. Now, that kind of an offer is very interesting to any female who is born and bred in Nigeria. Now, the moment Deborah knew that, her eyes lit up and she saw Kevin as an opportunity to get to the kind of life that she wanted to get to. Getting in a relationship or marrying Kevin would immediately make her automatically a citizen of both Switzerland and France. That's citizenship by marriage. So now that kind of an opportunity appealed to Deborah so much, and she decided to, give Kevin a chance. And she got to know him, she got to, spend time with him, and she realized that character-wise, Kevin is not really a bad dude, The guy is gentle, he's quiet, he's a little bit mature from the relationship that she was coming up from. And she found an attraction with Kevin. And Kevin also, meeting Deborah, he saw someone who is beautiful, someone who is full of life, someone who is interesting, and he took it upon himself to nurture the kind of woman or the kind of lady that Deborah is. So they started off their relationship built on the attraction that they had for each other. Now, we all know how relationships are when they're new. They're always very exciting and you get to see all the good parts of that person, but their focus was more on what each other had that was good. For Deborah was looking at the prospect of getting married to Kevin and all the whole life that she can enjoy by being married to Kevin. I mean, when you're married to someone of multiple nationalities, you don't have to spend so much for visas and everything. It makes your traveling a lot less expensive. And the relationship actually blossomed. Actually, they felt that attraction, they got to know each other, they spent a lot of time, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, they were courting up until they actually did what Deborah always looked forward to, getting married. Kevin and Deborah got married, and it was exciting for Deborah because Kevin was going to introduce her to the kind of life that she has always wanted for herself. And truly, after getting married, they traveled to Switzerland, which was Kevin's place of birth. And when they got there, the marriage was so exciting, it was so beautiful, because it was a new experience for both of them. Like, Kevin had never really brought a woman from Nigeria down to Switzerland. Oh, Kevin is Nigerian, by the way. So him taking Deborah to Switzerland, it was a new experience for him because he's never taken any woman traveling. And Deborah going to Switzerland was like a dream come true, because she has always wanted to leave Nigeria, but leaving Nigeria is usually very expensive with the visas and the flight and all of that. And here is Kevin giving her all that she wanted. So they traveled, and it was exciting. It was new. It was fresh, which made the affection that they had for each other grow. But over time, the marriage got to 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, and it started to look differently. Now, it was strange because Deborah and Kelvin hardly quarrel. Kelvin is a peaceful guy. He's way more mature. He handled things maturely. He handled conflicts maturely. So they hardly ever quarrel. But at the same time, the marriage wasn't as interesting as either of them thought it would be. Slowly and gradually, the marriage that they both had started to fade. The excitement that was there at the early stage started to dissolve. And there came another issue in the fact that in the 5 years of being married, Deborah was unable to conceive. Now, due to her past misdemeanors, she made some mistakes. And to her credit, she was upfront with, Kevin about the mistakes that she made, and Kevin accepted her. He, accepted the mistakes that she made. He accepted everything about her, and he wanted to spend the rest of his life with her, which she was utterly grateful for and appreciative. But then, 4 or 5 years into the marriage, those things that they accepted from each other started to become a problem. Kevin was way too mature for Deborah's liking. Then Deborah gets to sit down and think about the ex in which they didn't work out, and she gets to wonder what kind of life she would have had with that one. Because while they quarreled, while they had that disagreement, while it looked like they were both immature, for some reason, what they had was exciting. She felt that what they had was actual love, because they were together for a very long time, and irrespective of the quarrels, the fights, the words, they were able to work their way back together, and which was something that was extraordinary for Deborah. But now she's with Kevin, who she thought she preferred, but now the relationship is just empty. The marriage is empty. The excitement is no longer there. They were not quarreling, but they both wanted something more than each other could provide, and they started losing communication. They started falling out with each other. It felt like they were more roommates than actually a married couple, and it affected Deborah more, and she felt that the relationship or the marriage is her fault because she is unable to give Kevin the child that he wanted, and she felt it was because of her past misdemeanor that actually got her to that position. And for Kevin, on his own part, he started to wonder if he actually loved Deborah or if he was just excited by the affection that he had as at the time. And this emptiness between the both of them went on for a while. And so in order to spice things up, Kevin decided to take Deborah traveling. His dad is from France, which makes him a French citizen. So he took Deborah to France, spent some time, and it was exciting as usual. New places, new things, new people, they're always very exciting. He did that to spark up his marriage, and to a short time it worked. But then, before they knew, the marriage returned back to the emptiness that they usually felt. And unfortunately for Deborah, Kelvin is not mentally strong. He is not mentally sound. And so on the 21st of November 2022, Kelvin committed suicide. He killed himself because he could not stand the emptiness. He could not stand the loneliness. He could not understand how you can be married to a person and still be lonely. And Deborah was left there a widow, childless on the marriage, and having nowhere that she could turn to. Ladies and gentlemen, the reason I shared this story is because you need to ask yourself, what kind of foundation are you building your marriage upon? What kind of foundation are you building your relationship upon? You see, love and affection are like twins. They look so similar, and they are so identical. But love is quite different from affection. Affection is having a feeling for someone based on what they have that benefits you. That's an affection. If you have a feeling for someone because they have something, and that thing is what you've always been looking for, that is not love, and that is not standing on a real foundation. But the thing about affection is, affection doesn't last. Because at the end of the day, that thing that you've always wanted, that thing that you're sick, it could always tire you out. You could always be bored of it. And then if you're always bored, when you get to a stage where you're bored of it, what next for you? Where do you go from there? True love, when the foundation of your relationship or marriage is on true love, you get to stand the test of time. Yes, you guys will quarrel. Yes, you guys will have issues. You guys will say a lot of hurtful things to each other. But the fact that your foundation is on a solid rock of love, you would always find your way back to each other. But when your marriage or your relationship is built on affection, it's fragile. Because when it gets to that point where it becomes boring, when you want more, it's very difficult to find your way back to each other. Yes, agreed. There are, what's the word now? There are exceptional cases where people start with affection, and along the line they get to find love, and along the line they get to build. But one of the things you should ask yourself when getting together with a person is this affection or is this love? Now for Deborah in the story, she saw Kevin as a means to an end. Kevin was a means to give her the perfect life that she thought she wanted. I mean, he's a multiple nationality, which is something that Deborah craved for. And on Kevin's part, he saw Deborah as someone he could nurture and groom, and someone he liked very much. But what was the foundation of it? You need to understand that sometimes, of course, when you love someone, it's very important that the person be useful to you in one way or the other. You can't just love someone and the person will be there and doing nothing for you. It's normal. And these days, people tend to have affection for others who give value to your life. And that's why there's so many talk of what you bring to the table and how can you be useful to me, because people are actually looking for other people of value. But do not base your feelings or your love for that person based on the value in which they can give you. One of the sad characteristics of us human beings is our ability to get tired easily. We get tired of things easily. Of course, when they're new, it's exciting. New things excite us. That's the thing about us human beings. New things excite us. When you just buy a car, you're excited. You're ecstatic. You can drive that car to the end of the earth. But when that car is 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, you start looking for bigger things and more things. And it happens with everything. Clothes, shoes, bag, jewelry. When we get these things new, it's always exciting at first. But along the line, we just discard them and we look for new things. And it happens with human beings too. That is why if your marriage or your relationship is not built on the foundation of love, it will become stale. Because relationship and marriage cannot be new every time. It cannot be interesting every time. It will get boring. It will get lazy. There'll be that period where you guys may have nothing to say to each other, and you guys don't communicate. It will get there. And during that period is where you have to be careful, because then you can meet someone who is new, who is fresh, who cracks a lot of joke, who makes you laugh, and you think that, oh, this person isn't doing what the person I have is doing. Maybe this person is the better one for me. And you get to fall and make into that wrong decision. Build your relationship on the foundation of love. Love versus affection can appear similar, it can appear the same. They are not. If you're dating someone, if you're married to someone, go back and ask yourself, what made you marry that person? What made you be in a relationship with that person? Is it because of what they are able to offer you? Is that what the attraction is? Or you just love them because of them? And another thing that is, we humans, we're complicated. We are complicatedly wired. Because, as you listen to this, I'm sure you must have noticed that when the things you like in a person, after a long while, that same thing you like in that person would be the thing that you annoy you the most. That thing that you like in that person will start to become the thing that irritates you the most, because you guys have been together for so long, and it's just, you're not just feeling it the way you used to feel it. And do you know the strangest part of it is, the thing that annoys you about a person, if that person should leave, that is the one thing that you get to miss the most. That's how we humans are wired. And I've seen a whole lot of people who leave a relationship and they say, oh, this relationship is boring, the relationship is not interesting, we fight every day, we hardly have fun, all we do is quarrel, I can't stand it anymore, and I'm looking for something new. And then they get that something new, And after the first few months or years, when the whole honeymoon has died down, they tend to realize that it follows the same pattern. Things cannot always be exciting every time. And quarrels and arguments in a relationship depends on how you look at it, sincerely. If you're looking at quarrels and arguments as an opportunity for growth, there's a light at the end of that tunnel. There is calm at the end of that stormy place. Because when you're in your quarrel place, it's a stormy place, or the person's always finding fault in the things that you do. Nothing you do seems to appease them or make them happy. This period is where you guys get to find out about each other and get to appreciate each other. Because when you overcome that quarrel period, both of you could say hurtful things to each other and, not treat each other right. But when you overcome that period, you realize that it gets smoother and it gets easier from there on. You guys get better. But if you're always looking for something that, most people will say, I'm about peace and happiness. Anything that give me peace of mind, anything that give me happiness, that's what I'm going to go for. But the thing is, relationship at the early stage will give you peace of mind, to give you happiness, to give you excitement. And new things are interesting. And most people judge that early stage and think, this is how it'll be forever. That's not how it's going to be forever. True, if your relationship or marriage is based on the foundation of true love, it will stand the test of time. A marriage that is built on affection will not stand the test of time. You guys are going to break when it gets tough. You guys are going to not be mentally ready when it gets tough. And another thing is, in our part of the world, in the African part of the world, we tend to see people who are ready for marriage by their age. We use the age to judge people who are ready for marriage. We say, he's 30, he's 31, he should be married by now. She's 28, she's 29, she's 30, she should be married by now. But age is not about the years, it's about the readiness. And readiness doesn't mean financial is part of it, but there's also a mental readiness that comes with marriage. How mentally prepared are you? What kind of idea are you using to go into marriage? A lot of people are entering marriage with false ideas, with fake ideas, and they get into marriage and they see that the idea is different from the reality, and it affects them negatively. There are a lot of sad, unhappy marriages out there, and the reasons for them are very diverse, very, very diverse. But one of the things I've realized is that a whole lot of them, the marriage were not built on solid foundation of love. They were built because of affection, caused by desire, caused by life dreams, caused by goals. There are people who marry a person because that person fits the goals that you're looking for. Those kind of foundation will shake you when the going gets tough, and the going will get tough. As a man, will she still love you if you're not able to provide the way you can provide? As a woman, will he still love you if you're unable to give him children? Will he still be faithful to you? Will he still stand by you? How well you guys can stand by each other will determine how well you guys go. And it's all about the foundation. Build your relationship, build your marriage on the right foundation, that is love, not for the attraction of what you want. Alright? This is another episode of Candid Opinion. My name is Henry. Join me next time. I'm going to bring it to you fresh, hot, and it's going to be exciting. Take care of yourself.